Hi, welcome into this Fountainhead Commercial Capital Review, where I'm going to be showing you the best way to get an SBA 7A slash 504 loan without any stress, taking way too long to get processed, approved, and so much more in this video. But first, my name is Michael with Viral Funding Solutions. I am a business loan broker expert who's been fortunately and grateful been able to help out a lot of business owners in a lot of different industries and backgrounds get the right type of financing they need. No further introduction. Let's get right into this. So you see on the screen here, it says the nation's leading non-bank small business lender. And I want to begin there. As a national non-bank direct commercial lender, we specialize in helping small to mid-sized businesses finance their growth and create wealth through our SBA 504, SBA 7A, and low LTV conventional loan programs. Before I move any further, you have to understand the difference with just going directly to your bank, going directly to the SBA.gov sites and trying to get matched with the right lender. Perhaps it's not a preferred lender. There's a lot of people you're sending that file to who's seeing it, and you may not be happy with the way that they handle it. The bank, if you went to them right away directly, physically, or in a different format, may not handle it correctly. They may take a lot more time to get it processed. The way it gets looked at by seniority, maybe it's not the right person, it's a different committee, a different memo for this, and so forth. So there's a huge advantage of doing this with Fountainhead. And if you've seen me speaking about the SBA 7A 504 and other funding programs, I'm going to leave more information for you down below in description, as well as a questionnaire form to get a customized and personalized funding option on your best funding options, very thoroughly broken down. And perhaps you already filled that out, and this is where you're coming from. Now, if we scroll down here, it says the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, Entrepreneur Magazine, Fox Business, in 2019 through 2021, PBS. The Fountainhead team has extensive SBA loan experience, and they'll do this for you stress-free. The underwriting process, the communication, the specialty on focusing with this has spoken for itself on how far they can go. Our team has been involved in financing over 28 billion in total projects, including the SBA 7A. That's very popular right now and will continue to be. And listen, in this marketplace where the rates are climbing and you are a premium platinum type of client who can qualify for an SBA loan, and it makes more sense for you to get a longer term for a bigger project or projects, multiple things, equipment, working capital, anything that you need to use to fund your growth and expansion. And behind that being business operational expenses, you have payroll. And you always want to use something like the SBA 7A as a primary fuel for growth and expansion longer term, and it has to make sense. And I'll be getting into some of those qualifications. 301,000 plus SBA loans have been closed, including PPP loans. $28.81 billion in closed small business loans includes the PPP loans. We specialize in financing your growth with three distinct programs. Fountainhead SBA 504, which we quote unquote call it the wealth creator. Our SBA 50 loan program that is designed to help business owners create wealth through commercial real estate ownership. Our 504 loans can include the acquisition of commercial real estate, CRE, renovation of commercial real estate, new construction, refinancing, and or heavy equipment. We'll be jumping into that in a moment, but I want to focus on the SBA first. Just know that there's a form of commercial real estate with the SBA included, but not every lender will do that. Fountainhead SBA 7A, which is the growth generator. Our SBA 7A loan program, it is the ultimate business growth tool that offers the most flexibility in the use of proceeds. So what you can't do is use the same purposes for the 504 as you would with a 7A. They're different in the sense that this is used for working capital and for other uses. So I'll be getting into that more. SBA 7A funds can be used for a variety of things. You can refinance existing debt. It's a huge one a lot of people are doing on top of growing and expanding. Purchase inventory. Depends on how much inventory, new product shelf, how long has it been sitting there, how fast does it clear off. Buy out a partner. I've seen this a lot with partner buyouts. And I also see a lot of franchise funding, business acquisitions of many types, make upgrades. The list goes on and on. Fountainhead Conventional, the general. Our conventional loan program, it is the perfect alternative to traditional bank financing. Our conventional loans are ideal for purchasing, renovating, and or constructing commercial real estate or refinancing existing commercial property loans with or without cash out. So there's an advantage there, especially floating rate SBA 7A loans. So before I get into those specifically, here you can see your success is our story. Each business that we fund has a unique story and personality, which is what you want to bring to the table when you're getting government funding. And if you've been through any of this in the past, you already have an idea of how much you have to come out of your shell. And, when we're looking at extensive documentation, we're basing things off credit, collateral, cash flow. And the primary thing that the SBA looks like at is cash flow, then liquidity, and then you have collateral. So if you don't have any collateral, it doesn't necessarily mean you won't get approved. It has to go through the right lender, the right industry. Do you have enough cash flow to back that up, enough characteristics when we look at credit? And that's a determination of your character on how you can make your payments on time and you're having full control over all of this. So you're not a number or credit score to us. Me personally as well, you're not like that. And if you've been working with me for quite some time and you know me, you know that I don't look at you as a number at all. You're a business owner with a story, and we always take the time to understand your story and provide you with the best loan solution for your precise situation. And on the left-hand side here, you can see people saying a few things. So, Dwayne, President, Resort Outfitters. The service I got from Fountainhead was better than what I get from my local bank with whom I have a long-term relationship. The service was so great that I spent sent 4 or 5 referrals to Chris. So you'll be working with us with the loan specialist and the underwriters on board, the lenders, etc. So it makes it a much hassle-free process doing it directly this way. And perhaps you've heard other SBA options that are available, and I may recommend those over or one or the other, and I'll say why that's the case. Perhaps you've heard of a Hybridge SBA loan solution, and where you can get considered for multiple products and unsecured financing with like a line of credit, a cash advance, or the unsecured term loan before as bridge money while we're looking to get you approved for that SBA 7A loan. And if that's something that you would like to learn more about and why I highly recommend one of those options, then look down below in the description. You probably came here through an email and I showed you that option, whether it was your best one or not. You might want to look at that one again. In a lot of cases, it will be this one. And there are reasons for each purpose, depends on you, your industry, what you bring to the table. Now, over here, we see Adam, president, Forbes Books. Fountainhead is a business owner and entrepreneur's best friend. They had a clear-cut process, assigned someone to us that made the process really easy and got it done quickly. As your broker slash agent with your loan specialist, all of us in underwriting, everything being communicated with the lender, we're all in touch and we're able to find out what's exactly going on at each part of the process. So the communication is all there at the end of the day. Shayna Vitov, owner of Society Hill Dance. With Fountainhead, I felt I had all these people on my side who understood exactly what to do. They were great. They made it happen. So she got quick and to the point. And like a lot of these individuals, they're getting the right type of financing. And I'm going to make sure I help you out. And if you haven't filled out that questionnaire form, I highly recommend you do to get a very personalized and customized email response on your best funding option and options, taking care of both as a human being and then business second. I want to get to know you. I want to get to know how your business is going as well. And you may qualify for other options that are much better, whether you need the funding right away or you can wait some time out. Maybe you need bridge funding in the meantime and you get approved for the SBA, then you can use that to consolidate it all underneath one, pay it off, and put it under one. That might be something else to look at, perhaps here or with another one with the hybrid SBA type of program or financing. So over here, Corey, president of Traveler Guitars, thanks to the Fountainhead team, refinancing the loan had an immediate reward of saving almost 18% from our previous loan. That is huge. And you have to consider their position where they are currently within that year all the troubles, all the things that they had already pushed through, getting to this point is a huge success. So I can go on and on. Why choose Fountainhead? Excuse me. With Fountainhead, you get responsiveness. Absolutely that, first and foremost. Personalized service. At the end of the day, you want to make sure you're not a number. You're not just a credit card number. And the attention to detail that you deserve. We aren't a faceless, slumbering bank treating you like just another number with the responsiveness of a sloth. And that is the truth. You go to your bank, even with other ways of financing, if it isn't through the SBA, the amount of paperwork, extra additional work, who's actually looking over your file, making sure you have the right person, and they're considering first lien or having to consider this type of collateral if you're not getting an SBA or you're doing it that way, and they evaluate your case much different. You're going to the wrong lender and the wrong service, and they're not basing it off of cash flow. They actually needed collateral, but your cash flow was strong enough to service the debt. Debt service coverage ratio was great enough. And when we looked at your cost of goods sold, your expenses, your actual gross revenue, your net, what's your profitability, which I'll say this right now, if you haven't heard me say, you need at least 2+ years of profitability, and that goes across the board. Yeah, a profitability, we can say a year's worth, but if we look a year or two back, we go, well, it wasn't profitable in the last 2 years, or it wasn't profitable just this year. So it's kind of hard to justify getting you funding because we know you won't be able to service that debt, even though you think you will based off the current year. You're saying, well, we're now projecting this amount. We should be fine. We should be profitable by this much. However, history and projection value comes into play right there. So you see over here, speed, service, and specialization. We deliver the best experience in the lending industry, period. And I could attest to that. They do a great job at that. Our speed, service, and communication are unmatched because we remove any barriers between you and us. Entrepreneurs, we share an entrepreneur spirit with our clients and work closely with you to provide the necessary capital to help your business grow and prosper, even through trying times. We make common sense decisions in an industry often devoted to them for fear of regulatory ramifications. So what is very punctual about that is, yes, we get to hear you, your story, your plan, what you decide to do with this money, how it would actually be used. If we need to look more extensively, we need to get on a call, an underwriter, or so forth, and get a better idea, ask you questions that you should have the answer to, but you didn't, or other ones where we don't expect you to know the answers to that exactly, but you could give us an estimate or something. We're going to take care of you. We're going to understand that. So the track record, we were founded by the most well-known, awarded, and experienced team in the SBA industry. So our speed, specialization, creativity, and expertise are second to none. You can see news and insights, becoming a business owner without starting a business, how SBA loans can secure SBA 7A loans after PPP. And you can see there the Inc. 5000, America's fastest growing private companies, 2019 to 2022, and growing even more. So let's come up here to the loan, and we'll go through the SBA 7A. We'll skip that one. Sure, you know quite a bit there, but it is government funded money. Usually money's, when you see it from the bank's point of view, and then it's coming through the guarantees from the SBA. So over here, the SBA loan program with the 7A is the most flexible of the SBA loan options and can be used for a multitude of things that can help propel your business forward. And I spoke about what those uses can look like and to what types of businesses can be serviced. Business acquisition loans, working capital, and I spoke a little bit about business acquisition, partner buyouts, acquisition, franchise acquisitions, franchise purchases is right there, renovations, ground up construction projects, commercial real estate, business debt refinancing, equipment purchases, startup projects, partner buyouts, business expansion, business then consolidation, and the list can move on and on. And I'm going to be honest with you, I've moved and I've worked with quite a bit of people who have these underlying circumstances, what they're seeking capital for. I'm being very honest. I've helped out in just about all of those situations more times than one. And I know exactly the problems, the pain, the questions, the roadblocks, and really how to ultimately find you those right results. So ready to move forward, I'll show you how to get started. But SBA frequently asked questions. You can see a video there if you would like to watch. For profit, non-publicly traded businesses, tangible businesses net worth, including affiliates, not to exceed 15 million. Average net income of the business not exceed 5 million over the previous years. Here, let me move this over. I have the HP lighting on. Previous 2 years, excuse me. And I just wanted to make sure that was there. So let's come back here. And I had that idea already. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing that. Ownership must generally be comprised of 51% U.S. citizens or legal permanent residents. Proceeds must directly benefit the small business. Who is not eligible? Quite a bit. Nonprofits except sheltered workshops, passive holders of real estate and or personal property. At the end of the day, if you're making any kind of investments, real estate investments into apartments or for a fix and flip, something similar where it'll be flipped for a profit, or it's not going to be held on, not owner occupied in the sense of it being longer term. You're just doing it for an investment situation, and that wouldn't be the ideal way to do it. Over here, passive holders, as I mentioned, of real estate and or personal property, lending institutions, that includes mortgage brokers and correspondent lenders, are eligible. Move this over. I know it's getting in my way. I apologize if it gets a little dark on screen. Life insurance companies, franchised agents are eligible. Businesses located in a foreign country. Businesses selling products or services through a pyramid plan, that definitely will get you disqualified. Gambling concerns, and I do get to see that, especially when we're seeing bank statements, if those are asked for. I know there are other types of SBA lenders out there who will ask for about 12 months of bank statements of the previous year, 6 months of the current year. And, it's a very identifying thing, especially in those bank statements, when we see what you're withdrawing and we see the pattern of gambling issues or other reasons and how this money is being handled, how much cash flow you should have actually had if this wasn't withdrawn, more was coming in than what was going out. Businesses which restrict patronage, government-owned entities excluding Native American tribes, consumer and marketing cooperatives, producer cooperatives are eligible. Businesses engaged in loan packaging, businesses that have previously defaulted on a federal loan, that's a very huge one. You want to be steering clear of if you can, and if you haven't, then you know the issues with that. Businesses engaged in political or lobbying activities. And there's a little bit more that I can go into all this, but that's what you see as a clear picture. And up here, what can the SBA 7A loan not be used for? Transactions that do not directly benefit a subject business, investment only transactions, as we spoke about earlier, cash out transactions, that won't work, refinancing owner debt, or providing funds to a person or owner, nope. Buying into a business where the seller remains a part owner, business acquisitions must result in a 100% change of ownership. No questions asked there. I have people who come to me for that. What are the benefits? Longer term financing, that conventional loans up to 25 years. With this in mind, that usually when you get to 25 years, that's looking for real estate purposes. When you're looking at working capital, generally speaking, you're seeing somewhere with like 5, 7, up to 10 years in a lot of cases for working capital. Fully amortizing loans with no balloons. And just in case you don't know what fully amortizing or amortizing even is, it's just a way we calculate how you'll be making your repayments, principal, interest over what type of repayment monthly, how the principal goes up as the interest rate goes opposite or the opposite way from there. And it's just a way for calculating those types of payments. A smaller down, so over here, which no balloons, which removes the need to seek reapproval or new refinancing or financing, every few years. A smaller down payment than conventional financing, which allows you to conserve working capital, proceeds to cover all of your business needs, including ground up construction and business expansion. No financial covenants other than providing annual tax returns and financial statements, which I'll get into in a moment with what we need with documentation. Prepayment penalty is a minimal or non-existent. Loan payments cannot be accelerated as a result of an economic downturn as long as you make your payments on time. At the end of the day, can you service the debt that you'll be taking on? That is the ultimate question, and we want to make sure you're making your payments on time. Loan amounts here, you may have seen in the past or other lenders that I've shared with you who will say, hey, we can do less than 250,000, maybe 20 or so up to 350,000, and they work with an express loan, where express loans can be much harder to fund. And there's a limited amount of lenders out there that'll actually work with those because they're much harder to. And they take a little bit more time because it's more tedious looking at a lower amount than it is to say, hey, we're going to work with a larger amount. So a lot of these preferred lenders would rather work with like that 250 to 5 million range. Terms 10 years to 25 years, rates 6% to 8%. And I'll get into that because the rates can shift depending on the current market, the economy, inflation, the impending quote unquote recession if we aren't there fully by the time you're watching this video. But you could see usually prime rates being at about 5.5% right now, and that can increase as I'm making this video. Maybe it's up higher, but 5.5 plus 2.75% a lot of the time. So you're seeing just above 7.5, 8% and above, 8 to 9%. And it can be variable a lot of the times with Fountainhead. And that's the case with just about all SBA 7A loans. Over 90% of them get approved for a variable interest, meaning that per quarter, every 90 days or so, there's going to be a checkup to see if the market has changed or industry, what's fluctuating, or maybe we have to assess the risk a little bit more and increase the interest or decrease it. And we go, hey, well, it might not just be between 6 to 8% or 6 to 9% like you commonly see. It'll be probably 6 to 10, 6 to 13, 6 to 12, or more or less closer to that 10% range. But as interest rates increase, you want to make sure you're getting in as soon as possible. And what I tell everybody at the end of the day, even if you have a lump sum you're paying on a monthly basis, your benefit has to exceed the repayment. Any kind of funding, whether it be SBA related, a cash advance, an unsecured term loan, any kind of unsecured financing, even asset-based financing and so forth, the benefit of you taking this money is it growth for in expansion? Is it going to double, quadruple, triple? Is it going to just keep you afloat? Is it already hurting you with cash flow? You don't have enough and you're seeking funding, but you can't take on that daily, weekly repayment, all those other alternatives. Well, there's a reason why. And there's a lot of people who seek these options who won't qualify and don't want to take the time to submit all the documentation that is required. So if you're working with me, please be patient when I ask for you this information and you're thinking, oh, well, no, well, we spoke about it before. And if it wasn't something you could wait that much time to, or you don't want to supply high documentation and want to have to go through the underwriting and then go through it in weeks, you possibly get approved and your funds don't get dispersed to you in some time. And in the underwriting process, we have to connect back with you to ask for supplemental information. It might be agreements, some other types of funding offers out there where it's a letter of intent, some other contracts that perhaps you have, some readjustments. We need to look extensively into something, so we need to ask you of something. So when it comes to it, yes, you have to be prepared for those situations. And if you're not, you're just going to go ghost, or you're just going to become that person who goes out on vacation for however long and you're becoming unresponsive, and we have to close down your file because you were stressing us out just having to get a hold of you via email, text, a phone call. And I do all this stuff too as well on my end, and I don't want to have to be put in that position where I'm expending that kind of energy and time. Would you want me to do that? Would I want you to be in that position? No. So it has to be reciprocated. How to apply? Step one, fill out our quick application, and I'll show you some of this stuff, how it looks, and upload some basic documentation, and our Pronto software will go to work on issuing your approval in less than 2 hours. That's mighty quick there. Step two, you connect. Once you've received your approval, one of our loan specialists will reach out and walk you through the next step. So that's where I can help hand off to a loan specialist, and we're all in communication, more or less what I've already been communicating with you, they'll come back with, and then just a little bit more to get a better idea that I already had. And we could just go from there. We're handling the process. We're all in communication. We're a team together. We all know what's happening in each step of the process. Number three, fund. After everything is reviewed and approved, you'll be on your way to growing your business and creating wealth. And you'll be looking back on this process and you'll be happy, even if you took a little bit more time, if those funds weren't dispersed until 4 to 8 or so weeks, because that's what you're seeing in a timeline. And you have to think about the faster you get approved, it's usually correlated to how fast you can supplement the information when we ask of it from you. If you're waiting days, even a day, we get it the same day, we get this going fast. We're not saying it'll be done in 4 weeks, but you're looking at 4 weeks to plus 1 to 3 plus months in some of these cases. So just keep that expectation. Insights and info, you can see there. So I'm going to show you a bit of the application there, apply now, what it will look like, just at a quick bird's eye view. You'll see this SBA 7A loan application, but I'll show you a different place to do this, and I'll have more information down below, or it's a part of the email. The requested loan amount, and you'll go through all of this, and you'll fill out just a few things, personal, business, just kind of what you already understand. So we put this amount there. We can go through it, but that's more or less just a quick questionnaire just to get an idea of your business and understand what it is you're trying to look to do. Now, over here, let me open up this page. So this is kind of like a checklist, an SBA 7A loan approval application, and it's just going to walk you through more or less what you're expected of to send us back all the documents in this application. We will be able to get your loan through our approval process, assuming qualification in a very expedited manner. Our goal with this loan application is to reduce any anxieties you have about our loan process of getting you approved and quickly closing the table. But before I do that, I actually want to show you this. So the benefits, you can see that we already went into it, the qualification and borrower eligibility. And this is across the board if you haven't heard me talking about the SBA 7A, but business credit, liquid credit with business credit scores. I mean, it is ideal to have that at least at 140, 50, 155 or greater. It's a very common thing you'll see. Public records, no bankruptcies or foreclosures realistically in the past 3 years, no outstanding collections, no open tax liens, none of these recent 30+ day late payments, SBA specific criteria, no felonies, no delinquencies and or default on government loans. 2+ years of profitability is usually desirable and usually required. And I'll go into the documentation that we would need now. So business information, project cost breakdown with bids and estimates for cost form provided, and evidence of the source of the equity injection, business schedule of liabilities for the borrowing entity, real estate, holding company, and all affiliates form provided to you, which you're going to see here more or less in a second. Personal information for each 20% plus owner form herein. Authorization to release information, Patriot Act compliance, signed, dated by each 20% plus owner and their spouse, form provided to you. Each spouse will be required to sign/date the form, whether they are a guarantor or not. That's essential that we have that. Personal financial statement for each 20%, so PFS for short, if you've heard me speaking about this or I've already sent it to you, plus owner and their spouses, form provided if married. The spouse's information and signature on this form does not commit the spouse to be a guarantor on the loan. Personal income/expense summary for each 20% plus owner form provided. Personal resume for each individual with 20% ownership in the subject business. If a resume is not available, please fill out the attached form that we can provide you with. Previous 3 years of corporate tax returns for the borrower or seller, if business acquisition for that part as a seller, and real estate holding company as well as affiliate entities. Tax returns are to be signed in blue. We'll go ahead and show you this. Blue ink, for seller, tax returns, seller to sign in the blue ink. Interim financial statements, income statement and balance sheet less than 60 days old, signed in blue ink for borrower/seller, real estate holding company, and all affiliate entities. Previous 3 years of complete personal tax returns, as we're seeing the 3 years there, for all 20% plus owners, signed in blue ink. For startup business, business acquisition, and or business expansion, submit a business plan. That's obvious with those is generally the requirement, along with detailed monthly cash flow projections supported by detailed assumptions for the next 18 months and annual projections for 2 additional years, 3 years total, as you see as it adds up. How to apply? Step 1, I can submit your business name or another portion of that with your name and email address into our portal, or you may already be a member of a portal and you already understand how it all works and what's being required and how we're following up with you. Step 2, you'll then have the loan approval application, which we just showed you on the share screen on the other one, for you to complete with the documents above and more. Step 3, and then you can upload it into your portal given to you and or sent by myself. So in a lot of circumstances when I'm helping people with the SBA loans, yes, you can upload things on the portal. A lot of the times people will send me their documentation and that is okay as well. And then I can also try to see if I can upload it for you. And then there may be another way we have to require this to be taken care of for each specific entity. So it'll vary. But a lot of the times people like to send me their information, and that's how I like to approach it. So I have it for myself, and then I can send it email wise or in a different format. And then we can go from there. And it gives me a better idea when people like projections and want me to see and evaluate it before anything gets submitted. So that would be cool. Just let me know this is the SBA option you'd like to take. And over here, generally speaking, with most SBA solutions, is what you're going to see. So over here in the note, it's just an external thing that I was working on, so you can kind of ignore that. But there's the Hybridge SBA solution as well, if you've heard of that, where we can combine unsecured financing and we can do a lot of more things in-house. And that's also a great alternative. And that's a lot of the times the primary one that I'll recommend too. Plus, we don't just send your information everywhere and everywhere, so it won't affect your score and it'll keep your privacy protected, especially with that Hybridge SBA loan. And we can limit it to just one or two lenders, depending on your industry. There may only be just one or two, and one is directly the one we go to. So a lot of these times you'll see with most SBA loans, and I wanted to put this here just so you have an idea. Last 3 years of business tax returns, last 3 years of personal tax returns, last 3 years of profit and loss and balance sheets, year-to-date profit and loss and balance sheets, AR/AP reports if you have them, personal financial statements, we just kind of went over that, form, debt schedule, if you have debt, invoices for equipment being purchased if you're going through an equipment setup. So it's more or less, this is the process of what it'll look like. You'll kind of see this. I'm just going to kind of go through this rather quickly on the format. But you can see what you'll be filling out, authorization there. Then you have business schedule of liabilities and so forth. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to come back over here. Now you understand how the SBA 7A loan works. There may be some additional stuff, but I can only cover so much in a video. Whether you came through an email, you perhaps got more information, so you can refer there, or we can speak in time. That questionnaire will be down below. Now, let me come over here to the SBA 504, and we'll move forward from there. This is the wealth creator, as I mentioned in the beginning. What can it be used for? Very simple. SBA 504 loan program. It's used for purchasing, renovating, financing, or constructing owner-occupied, operated commercial real estate, or buying heavy equipment. And before I move any further with this, if I didn't make mention of this, the SBA credit, it's more of a morality character thing that we look at. So when we say 680, that's ideally what you want to have is 680 and above. There are circumstances where you can have it like a 620, the debt service coverage ratio at a 1.15, but it can vary within the market. So what you want to really shoot for is having at least a 680 and above, even if they might work with something lower. And even if you're lower than that, you have to come up with a great reason and you must explain why that is the case. And there might be some needed documentation to be looked at so we can actually go into it a little bit deeper. And I put a few notes here that I have gathered so I make sure that I don't miss anything. And I have it already up here. I just want to get more specific. So I hit on every one of these. So 1.15 minimum FICO could be 620, but ideally you want to shoot for 680, and anything lower than all that, come into it with an explanation and perhaps more documentation. So across the board, you'll see 680, ideally 500K north in annual revenue, 400K, you can see that, but 500K and above is generally a great way to get you in within this 250 to 5 million range. And just with any kind of like SBA 7A loan, you want to be doing that. And you want to be prepared, and profitability and credit. So north of those is really going to help with 2 years and plus in business or buying heavy equipment. Some of the things that the program cannot be used for include working capital, partner buyouts, business acquisitions, franchise fees, and so forth. These financing needs are better suited for our SBA 7A loan program, as we just went through, who is eligible for-profit, non-publicly traded businesses, tangible business net worth, including affiliates, not to exceed 15 million, average net income of the business not to exceed 5 million over the previous 2 years. Very important right there. Ownership must generally be compromised of 51% U.S. citizens or legal permanent residents. Some exceptions apply. So we kind of more or less went through that somewhat with the SBA 7A, but you're seeing a bit of a difference there and somewhat similar again. So I'm just going to quickly have you look at this, and you can rewind it back later on if need be. Now, Over here, what types of properties does Fountainhead finance? Medical offices or medical facilities, such as labs and clinics, plenty. Office buildings, including office condos, warehouses, and other industrial properties. Daycare facilities for children or adults, a huge one that I've also helped with. Freestanding restaurants, limited service, flagged hotels. Some unflagged destination hotels will be considered, done those as well. A lot of these I've honestly done those. Auto repair shops, assisted living facilities, yes. Call to ask about many other property types that are eligible. You can also speak with myself as well, and I can gather that. So the loan amounts, the difference is here. You see a minimum the same of 250K, but you're going up to 22 million with the 504 in this type of program and in this kind of setting. Amortizations, 10-year, 25 years. So 10 to 25 is exceptional. Rates, 3.63 to 6.5%. And again, you got to consider what the market is speaking to. This is real estate. So in a sense, you do see the rates being a bit less. There's more of that factored into this. But with the current market, you can see an upshift in that on those. So I will make sure you understand how it all works and what's most up to date as you see there, the 3.63 to 6.5%. How do you apply? Same thing. We just went through that. And if we clicked on the Apply Now button, you're going to see it here. Similarly, you want to go through that. And there will be a portal. And if you want to do this option, just go ahead and let me know. If I have your business name, your own first and last name, email address, just let me know. And then I can send this over. And then we can have your portal opened up. If you don't have one yet, we can start there. Or if you already have one open, then I can collect the information. You can upload it yourself or however you want to approach this securely and safely into our portal. So ultimate guide to the 504 program, SBA 504 resources. And we're going to go over here. We're going to conclude with the current SBA 7A rates. And this is not primarily adjusted. So it is 5.5 plus up to 2.75%. So that may be adjusted in time. Current 504 rates. You can see that Fountainhead 10-year, 20-year, 25-year, August 22, 4.974, 20-year, 4.892%, and the 25-year term, 4.981. So you can see that number increasing as the amount of years you get, which makes sense in the way we amortize it. Refi, 5.537%, 4.906%, 4.994%. So just keep that as an adjusted value. Perhaps it could change in time, and I'll keep you up to date on what those numbers are, and then we can work with that. So over here, we have conventional loans. What can Fountainhead conventional loans be used for? This is the SBA Loan Alternative Program, perfect alternative to the SBA 504. The conventional loan program, it is very similar to the 504 loan, and is primarily used for purchasing owner-occupied commercial real estate. Additionally, when our conventional loans are used for refinancing, we frequently provide cash out funds to our new clients. So that's an awesome thing to do right there. And ready to move forward. Frequently asked questions: who's eligible? For-profit, non-publicly traded businesses, tangible business net worth, including affiliates not exceeding 115 million. So similar to what we saw. So I'm just going to kind of go through this rather quickly. Who's not eligible? You see that part there. Nonprofits except sheltered workshops. And you can see what types of properties is Fountainhead finance. You can always learn about more of them. And so you see the loan amounts, 250K, similarly to what we see before with the 504, the 7A, to 15 million this time though. More than the 7A, less than the 504. Terms, 10 to 25 year. So similarly to like the 504, rates 4.15 to 7.75 with keeping, the market adjustments in play. So we're about to round up this video. You have resources, PPP help, home, about us, but you have a better idea, the people that have been getting help, why this is an exceptional way to go through these lenders that I recommend, this lender, and why you should go with somebody like Fountainhead. And then there are the other alternatives. If I've shown you like a Hybridge SBA, if you're including bridge funding, if that's something where you need immediate funding while you're waiting, and then some other solutions you may have already been shown and aware of. But what I would do if you haven't filled out the questionnaire, start there so I can get a better idea of what you would qualify for, whether it's coming through here or elsewhere. If you already did and you're considering this, please get a hold of me. And if you already have an account, a portal open, then we may have to approach it a bit differently, and I can show you how to get that taken care of. And I believe that's all. I mean, I can have different videos for like what the SBA 7A loan requirements in full depth, eligibility in full depth. I have already created content on that, so I'll try to link you to it down below. And I'm always coming out with more of it. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to voice them down below in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with other people who you feel will get value out of it. It could be a complete stranger, a friend, or a family member. But you know, at the end of the day, you're able to do this. Rest your head on your pillow, knowing very confidently that you were able to help someone out and that you can wake up feeling more refreshed that you did so and for yourself. And they can too. They don't have to feel stressed out going through the wrong lender partner, going through somebody that they shouldn't have, only to be given less or not what they should have given, been scammed, been given the wrong information, overpromised and underdelivered, where I won't do any of that. I'll really take care of you and I will help you. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so and click that bell notification icon so you do not miss any future videos I will be coming out with. That is it for now. Talk soon.